About the fight right now. Deontay Wilder against Derrick Chisora. Now, first and foremost, I thought that the fight was a good matchup. I did, it was one of these fights where you wanted to see if there was anything left in both of these fighters. At the end of the day, Deontay Wilder came out ahead. One judge had it 115, 112 for Chisora, and the other two had it for Wilder 115, 111, and 115, 113, giving Deontay Wilder the split decision win. Derrick Chisora, he announced that he's done, he's finished, and Deontay Wilder thinks that he's the best heavyweight in the division. My thoughts are simple. They both looked shot. It was sad to watch Derrick Chisora, who was never known to be fleet of foot, but it was sad to watch Derrick Chisora just plod around. I mean, he plodded around. He seemingly, are we saying, as dumb as a fox? I mean, he plodded around like he just didn't know what he needed to do, didn't know what he wanted to do, just went through the motions. I mean, that's what it looked like to me. And I got to be honest. Look, Deontay Wilder, if you've ever watched this show for a long period of time, I've never been a big fan of Deontay Wilder. I've always said that he's a one-trick phony. Pony. He was brought up, coddled. The man has a devastating right hand. Is it the most powerful right hand in the history of boxing? No, it's not. But it is pretty powerful, and, it's impressive. But that's it, boys and girls. That's it. He has no footwork. He has no defense. He's never really used a jab, even though he potentially has one. He has no movement. He looks like a stick figure out there. He has no brains. He is not a smart guy. Plus, he has no ring savvy. And it was sad to watch him this past week. As much as I was never a fan, to me, it was sad to watch him fight because he was fumbling and stumbling and bumbling, trying to land the one punch. I mean, even in swings and misses or shots that weren't totally set the way he wanted, he was just chasing with that power hand. And then you're watching Derrick Chisora barely trying to get out of the way. It was hard to watch. It was sad to watch, and to tell you the truth, Deontay Wilder comes out on top. So you say to yourself, okay, what's next for Deontay Wilder? A lot of talk was that Deontay Wilder would fight, Anthony Joshua. I mean, that's a fight that I could see them trying to sell. He also was saying that he wanted to fight the winner of Usyk and Wardley, and people are saying he deserves a title shot. It's crazy. He's already calling out AJ, calling him scared. There's other people. Carl Froch said that he thinks AJ doesn't want to fight him. He thinks that AJ is scared of him. I don't know who would be scared. If you're scared of Wilder, you shouldn't be fighting. And if you're a professional fighter, you shouldn't be fighting. We got some comments in the chat room. My man Aaron says Wilder fought like a bum. Yeah, he did. And love it. Well, she's breaking bread while she's watching the show. Jessam's saying Wilder and Chisora look like a bar brawl. It did. It did. I like Jessamine is saying Wilder against Guido Vanello or Anello or whatever. I'm going to talk about him later. Yeah, I would like that. But listen, look, if I'm Wilder and I'm looking for money, a money fight for him would be AJ if he could get that fight. But here's the thing. There's all kinds of stuff going on in the heavyweight division. Quietly it happened. when Usyk gave up his title, that's what made the WBO title. That's what made Fabio Wardley from interim to real super duper main WBO. So he's in a fight right now, and he's already booked to fight in his next fight. And then there's a eliminator going on, which I happen to like, for the IBF's version of the title that Usyk holds, and that's Frank Sanchez going up against Richard Torres. And then you got to think about the WBA belt. Now, remember, even though Usyk has the WBA belt, there's another guy that happens to hold the WBA regular belt, and that's Miryat Gassiev. And their team announced that they would give Deontay Wilder an immediate shot at that belt. You know what? I have a problem with Deontay Wilder getting an immediate shot at a world title for beating Derrick Chisora. Now, the thing is the little curve is that Derrick Chisora happened to have been ranked at number 2, in the IBF. So theoretically, a win over him catapults Deontay Wilder. So I mean, the bogusness of the way the sanctioning bodies rate their fighters is clearly opening up a path and clearing a way for Deontay Wilder to get another world title shot. My hang-up is this. I mean, no knock on him getting a shot, making some money, whatever, especially a winnable fight, against any of these guys, especially guys more his own side like Gassiev. The thing is he's got the power right hand, but the truth of the matter is he was fighting Derrick Chisora, more or less a stationary target, a proverbial punching bag at this stage of his career. Yeah, he's tough. Yeah, he took shots, but over his career. But anybody that can box. Now, you know what pisses me off the most is that the names like number 1, Ajit KBL. I don't understand why. Well, I do understand. Every single heavyweight out there with a trinket around their waist, they don't want to fight this cat because he's good. He doesn't look the part. He quietly beats the shit out of people. I mean, he's a dangerous fighter, so they're avoiding him. They're clearly avoiding him. How about Filip Hrgovic? Hrgovic is another one. I know he's scheduled for some fight not too far away, but, these are all guys to me that deserve a shot at a title before Deontay Wilder at this stage. I mean, you could even sprinkle in guys like Martin Bakole, Joseph Parker, who, he was at the top of his game. Yeah, he lost, but, he deserves it more than Wilder. The Lawrence Oakley, who's busted onto the scene. He was a cruiserweight champ. And even young fighters like Efe Ajagba, who's have, stumbled a bit, but they're climbing back up the ladder. I think they deserve a shot before Wilder does, or at least have him fight Anthony Joshua or the winner of Fury and Makhmudov. I don't know. I mean, would I want to? Could I stand a Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder numero cuatro? I mean, no, I couldn't.